Children, this is part 2. We are going to deal with transport, that is chapter 15, and the topic is railways. So, Indian railways are the most important mode of transport in the country. It is explained as nation's lifeline. The first railway line was laid down between Mumbai and Thane in the year 1853. Indian Railways is the largest public undertaking run by the Union government. Indian network works on 3 gauges, that is the broad gauge, 1.676 meters, meter gauge 1 meter, and narrow gauge with a width of 0.762 meters. Broad gauge was mainly installed to connect the major ports with other cities to facilitate the export of raw materials to Britain by ships. The examples like Sialdah Delhi Duronto is the fastest long distance train. Now coming to meter gauge, it connects all the places on a flat land or plain land such as northern UP, Bihar, Assam and parts of western Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Third is narrow gauge. It connects all the places in mountainous region. Generally toy trains run in these places like Kalka, Shimla, Siliguri, Darjeeling and Uttarakhand. So after independence, the government of India decided to convert all the gauges into broad gauge to facilitate transport of goods and general traffic. Coming to railway management, there are 16 zones, and then the zones are subdivided into divisions, and the divisions have basic operating unit for Indian Railways. But there is one more zone which is not included totally in the railway ministry. It is a cooperated railway known as Konkan Railway. Now where is Konkan area? It is on the western side of Indian coastal plain, means that Mumbai region. Actually, this part was quite rugged and uneven. It is a mountainous region. So, just after independence, when all the rail lines were being laid throughout the country, this area was not connected through railways because of its topography, its uneven topography. So, the government did not have enough money to spend or incur on laying railway tracks in this region. So it gave it to a private company. So the private company built railway tracks over here, and the profit which is gained by the railway ministry, a part of it is given to that private company which laid railway tracks over here. So Konkan Railway is a corporated railway and it comes under the control of Railway Ministry. The progress of Indian Railways. Now diesel engines were replaced the steam engines in 1950 to avoid environmental pollution. As you know, steam engines, they create a lot of steam, fume and all the soot, it goes into the air and it pollutes the environment. So diesel engines were made in DLW in Varanasi and Chittaranjan. Now locomotive works in the West Bengal and locomotive works in Jamshedpur are producing diesel engines. Now diesel engines also cause air pollution, which has been replaced by the electrification of all the railway tracks. Now, as electrification process was given priority to the high density section of the railway lines to increase the speed of the train and the volume of traffic, means more and more people could board the train at one time. So these two things were made easy through electrification process. Advantages of railways. Railway serves as the principal mode of transport. They unite people from one corner of the land to the other. It is the cheapest mode of transport for bulky products over long distances, for example, coal, iron ore, petrol, and many other raw materials. Railways connect the hinterland to the seaports, for example, Mumbai, cotton textile industry. Now, what is hinterland, children? Near the seaport, the area which supplies raw material for exporting is called hinterland. So it is not a very small place, it is a whole region which surrounds that port is termed as hinterland. Children, this is common to the third point which we have already read. Railways promote integration within the state, for example, connecting eastern states to west and northern to south. Railways help in agricultural development. Now all the perishable, non-perishable, means the vegetables or the milk products which can rotten within a short time are called perishable goods. So these can be easily transported through railways. Railways help in administration of the country. It helps in easy movement of heavy defense equipment, troops, police and military within the country. It forms a major employment sector. In post-independence period, railways have helped in setting up of many industries in areas like Bhilai, Durgapur, Bokaro, Rourkela. Kolkata and Delhi have underground railway called the metro. Superfast trains like Rajdhani, Shatabdi Express have been introduced to facilitate the fast movement of passengers. Now, this is very important point, children. Railways are the more important in northern plains. The flat level of northern Ganga plain with high density of population and rich agricultural output provides ideal conditions for development of railways. However, due to the presence of rivers, number of bridges have been constructed. In northern parts of India, due to hilly and rugged means uneven topography, it is difficult to develop railways. Hence, here the road transport is more popular. Now, disadvantages of Indian Railways. It faces a tough competition with road transport. It is facing a tremendous pressure of traffic with increasing population. Due to poor maintenance, frequent accidents due to human errors, terrorist attacks, and faulty track repairs, which has made the rail journey unsafe. Poor management, lack of amenities at the railway stations have resulted in inefficient image of railways. Changing policies and delay in implementing the decisions taken by the central government. Obsolete machinery. Obsolete means the old and worn out machineries. Tracks and equipments are cause of major accidents which affect the efficiency over a period of time. Electrification of railways has resulted in heavy increase in consumption of electricity and increased tax rates. Now, problems of Indian Railways: obsolete trains, old trains, tracks and equipments make railway unsafe. Electrification of railways has resulted in huge consumption of power and higher tariff rates. Many of the workers are inefficient and unproductive. It lacks the facilities of cleanliness and discourages passengers to travel by train. Railways cannot be laid in hilly areas or in remote forested regions. It does not provide door-to-door facilities like roads. The different gauge make a smooth, uninterrupted journey impossible in many sectors. Railways face a tough competition with road transport. Next is airways. Air transport is the fastest mode of transport. It has reduced geographical distances and has brought the world closer. Air transport was nationalized in 1953. The air transport Now coming to airways, the interest in aviation began when the first time airmail service started in 1920 on experimental basis. The credit goes to J.R.D. Tata, who flew in a twin-seater single-engine Leopard Moth from Mumbai to Karachi in 1932. So there has been a rapid development of air service in our country since 1953, when Indian Airlines and Air India were formed. Indian Airlines Corporation provides air services within the country, which later expanded to include neighboring countries such as Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. So it links all the principal industrial and tourist centers of India. Air India provides international air services for over 96 countries. It has a large fleet of jet planes, including Airbuses, jumbo jets. Jumbo jet is one of the fastest commercial planes in the world. The advantages of air transport. Air transport is the fastest mode of transport. Air transport is free of mountain barriers and it can connect remote places within a short time. Disadvantages: air transport is expensive, it has limited carrying capacity, and the weather can at times hamper smooth transport. The classification of airports: international airports, domestic airports, Pavan Hans helicopters. International airports: foreign airlines carrying international passenger traffic to and from India existed long before independence. Their operations are governed by bilateral agreements signed from time to time. The international service is managed by Air India. Domestic airports like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Goa, Varanasi, Patna, Agra, Jaipur, Amritsar are customs airport with limited international operations by national and foreign tourists and cargo charter flights. So it operates 5 to 7 stations and 17 international stations in 14 countries. Pavan Hans, these are the helicopters which support service to the petroleum sector, including ONGC and Oil India Limited. Apart from this, it also provides services to certain state governments and public undertakings and northeastern states. The development of airports is no longer solely under the private sector. Instead, private participation is allowed and encouraged. Children, I have already discussed advantages and disadvantages. The points are enough for you, and if you want more points, you can go through the chapter. Problems facing the aviation sector of India: high operational cost, high cost of aviation, that is turbine fuel, high service tax and other charges, shortage of maintenance facilities, high foreign exchange rate, competition from foreign airlines, congestion at airports, lack of qualified pilots and efficient technical manpower. Air transport is adversely affected at the occurrence of fog, mist and stormy weather.